now 2:01, so I'm going to officially start. I said this at the beginning, but now that we have more people, these are other cards I've made using this technique. This was the very first card I made using this technique. This happens to be a stamp from the dollar store, which is why it's not included today, because I don't know if anybody else's dollar store would have that available to them. And then this one I made it into a shaker card. Problem with this is when it stands up, it's on display, you don't see much shaking going on. And then this is using some Altenew using silver embossing powder. But these are the two we're making today. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to get out our vellum. And I have. So if you're following along, go ahead and get out the vellum. And we're going to stamp both this flower and this flower to start with, because we might as well, we're going to need the heat tool out at the same time. We're using the same embossing ink. We're using the same embossing powder. We might as well do both of those at the same time. So I have everything cut, and it's all laid out someplace here on my desk. Where did I put it? Here.
And Laura, you said only certain brands of vellum work with this process, right? With the heat, the Altenew brand?
The Altenew brand works with the heat. I got this on Amazon, and it's a heavy duty. Okay. So with vellum, you do have to be careful because it may scorch before the powder is melted. You want to make sure, and we'll do this together, you want to make sure that you're constantly moving your heat gun. So I am going to get out, I have this stamping. This is the Tonic Tim Holtz stamping platform. And you're
You muted for some reason.
okay. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay, so 5.5 by 4 1/4, regular A2 size. So cut 2 of those pieces. And we're going to do both of the in someplace. So grab whatever one you are starting with. I'm going to do this one. And I see with this that I don't think I even put that in the instructions. So I apologize, because we're going to have to do some masking to get this in place. So I'm starting by putting this right in the corner. So if you take a look at the card, you see it's about the right place. Now I have this border here, so I'm going to lift this up a little bit so that the border doesn't cover it, because this white border is going to go all the way around this. And this in place. And then you're going to want to make sure that you use some kind of powder, anti-static powder on your vellum, so that the embossing powder only sticks to your design. I'm using the Versamark, but any watermark or any embossing ink will work. You can almost see what I'm doing. And using a Yankee Candle cover, I made one of these chunky things. I put some glitter in there just to make it fun. And then I glued a piece of cardboard. I traced cardboard. And then this is the stuff that you can buy that goes on the bottom of your furniture so it doesn't scratch your floor. And this is great. This is great. Just for giving some pressure. Now, before I take the heat gun to the paper, I'm going to heat it up. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Lori.
Okay. I'm going to take my embossing powder. Clean this off then.
Now you're a little bit muted. I mean, you know, just you need to talk a little louder.
Okay.
Lori?
I might have to stamp this twice. I might have to stamp this twice because I didn't get a good image there. So I'm going to heat this up, making sure that I'm constantly moving my heat tool.
Hi, Laurie. This is Amy Donahue. I don't know if you can hear me yet.
Yes, I can.
Okay, sorry about, I have had to try and get in and out a couple times. Okay, sorry, I'm late. Okay, I'll try and
That's
just catch
okay.
up.
Glad you're here.
Yeah,
If you have questions, type it into the chat, and then Sandy, my co-host, can relay those questions to me. But I don't know whether, you know, I bet the problem is that this prevented my stamping tool to go down tight enough. So I'm going to stamp this again. What did I do for this? And I'm going to push extra hard down there in the center, or in the, yeah. Make sure I get good contact there. Yes, much better. You saw the Altenew white powder heats up and melts very quickly, so it doesn't, you know, it takes it fine on the vellum. All right. So there's the first one. I am going to set that aside, put my powder back in here momentarily. And then I'm going to I'm going to have to do some masking, and I forgot about that, and I apologize. Oh, and I
Lori,
didn't-
what tray were you using for your powder that had that cute little funnel on the bottom?
Oh, this thing?
Pink tray? Yeah. Where did you get that?
I have had this for 20 years. I have no idea. I mean, I've had
Well-
this for as long as I can remember.
I don't know, but that is really
there's
cool.
no-
If anybody knows where to get one of those now, why don't you type it in the chat and we can all see and benefit from that.
There's
I
no
think-
name on it except
I-
where I wrote my name.
But you need to mute yourself, please, because
Oh.
it's hard on the tape with everybody having their microphone on. But still, Lori, that is a very cool tray.
All right, so what I'm going to need to do, and just because for, just to make it quick, I'm going to stamp with a Post-it note because I need to mask that off. So I need to mask off in this area here. And I'm going to do 2 Post-it notes. Let me get another color. Color doesn't matter because I'm just going to cut. I'm masking here. And then I'm going to use another Post-it note. And I need to mask it down here. There's the sticky part on. Okay. And now I will cut this out. And I'm going to mask this. And I've got this one. A little bit of ink on the, I bet you guys can't see it, but I can. I'm going to make it worse. Yeah. A little bit of ink on there, but it probably won't show at the end. And then I need to cut out what I need to mask over here. So I'm going to cut out this. Oops, let's get on the screen. And fussy cutting is my least favorite thing to do, and I'm not so good at it. And I tend to shake, so it's not because I'm nervous, I just shake when I try to do fine detailed things. Well, I see I'm cutting off all the Post-it part. That was smart. All right, I am going to clean off my flower here and put this away so that I can get out the leaf. And I think I used the same leaf twice. One here and then one here. Makes it easier. So, and what did I just do with the mask I cut out? What's the problem when you get old? So I want this leaf to go about there like that. I'm going to ink this up with the Versamont. And I think I'm going to heat that right now before I try to do the other one. Otherwise, knowing me, I'll smudge this and make a mess. I'm curious, Sandy, how many people are crafting along with me? Let me put in the chat if you're crafting along with me.
Sorry, Lori, I suddenly got muted and I don't know quite how it wasn't working, but I'm not sure. Type in the chat though if you are crafting along. and I'll let Lori know.
And then, okay, I have 2 pieces of, swear I spend more time looking for stuff that I had right in front of me. That is not it. That is the one I've already done. There it is. All right, this one I need to do down here. And it's perfectly all right if you're not crafting. And I'm sure Sandy's done the same thing. I've gone on to classes like this and think, well, I might have some of the same or some similar product that I could use instead. Or sometimes I'm doing my own completely different thing and just want to be there with the group and see what they're doing and pick up some tips and techniques. Because nobody knows it all. And I'm always learning new things from other crafters.
I think it's Sue's because it says Kent Wooldridge, but I know you told me your first name. I think it's Sue. Forgive me if it isn't. But anyway, she said, I made 2 cards last night using the directions, but now I'm learning the things I did wrong.
Oh, no. Well, I'll be interested to see the cards you made last night. I'm sure they're fine. I bet they're beautiful. All right, now where did that leaf stamp go to? There it is. So this one I'm putting down here like this. And just because that's where I chose to put my leaves doesn't necessarily mean that's where you have to put your leaves. That looks good. Yeah, with this little tray, sometimes it gets staticky and it's hard getting the powder out. So I will often take a dryer sheet and run it around in there. And incidentally, that works really good for dyes too. Before you die cut them, run a dryer sheet over the dye itself. And that helps to release all the little pieces.
I just put a link. It's huge, but it's an Amazon link to the tray that you have. It's called Tidy Tray.
That sounds
And
good. That sounds
I
right.
had to look, it's $7.99 on Amazon. I had to look a little bit because the ones that people were saying with the diamonds were too small to use for embossing the way that we would want to use it. And a lot of the glitter ones didn't have a funnel on the end of it, but I found the one you have. And so I'm impressed. I am definitely going to get one.
Yeah, it's pretty handy. All right, so this is the first one. Because we're already got everything out, we're going to stamp for the second one, the second card, and get that heat embossed, and then that part is going to be done. I realize, and now I'm not happy. I'm missing the bird. I have no idea where that bird is. All right, where is? Oh, I see it. It's fallen. I see a little piece of it right there. All right, good. It's no fun to lose your pieces, is it? All right, now I need another piece of embossing or vellum. And this one is going to be the magnificent branch. That's this one. And one of the reasons I'm using this big stamp positioner is that this is just such a huge flower. But I think it made an awfully pretty card. So this flower is going to go, let's see, it's going to set like that. So I'm going to put it like that. And let's move this all over so it's in there. And Sandy, one of the things you suggested that we buy is the Scotch low tack tape. I love it.
It's the Scotch removable tape, and
Yeah.
it works better than anything, and it's cheaper too. It's awesome. I'll
Yeah.
put a link for that too on Amazon. It's better than any of the craft tapes that are out there, and it's cheap. So a win-win.
All right, let's try this again. This magnet did not come with this, and it's a little bit too tall. And I have no idea. I think this came with the little round magnets, which have all broken into tiny little pieces now. They're those, what are they called? The rare earth magnets are very strong, but they're also very brittle. I'm wondering if I can sneak this out without moving it, so I can get a good. And I believe I did. I don't need to reheat my heat gun, at least the one I'm using, in between. If you've noticed, it's off. I don't know if you can tell if it's off or on, because I know Zoom sometimes mutes all those extra noises, but it's off now. And you know what I didn't do here? Oh, and that didn't shoot. Well, that's a boo. I didn't get the very tip of this. And because I don't know how this was lined up, I'm not even going to try to fix this. So I'll have to just deal with it like that. And I forgot to run the anti-static powder, but it didn't do too bad. So all good.
Carmen says that she doesn't use the magnets anymore with the Misty. She uses a sticky mat instead.
I am considering getting one of those sticky mats. Did you say Jennifer McGuire?
No, Carmen, one of our attendees here, said that and listed
Oh,
a link also to scrapbook.com where she got hers.
all right. I'll have to look into that. All right. So, and I can see now that there is, I don't know if I can show you. Here's my camera. There was quite a bit of powder left, but I'm not going to worry about it because it'll be fine in the end. Now I'm just going to take a paintbrush and get the rest of this out. And I definitely will need to run anti-static over this before I use it again. Okay, we will now move on to coloring. You're going to want to get out your alcohol markers. Although since I've done this class and prepared for this class, I realize you can use colored pencils on the back of the vellum too, and that works okay. Now I'm looking for the release sheet. Oh, there it is. Oh,
Lori,
there we are.
Melissa added in the chat that scrapbook.com also has those little mini trays. And then she said that she highly recommends the pink and gold tool from Pink Fresh, but I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about, Melissa. So if you could explain more exactly what tool you're talking about, that would be great. And then I'll show it on there if I can find a picture of it.
What is the what's the name of it? Did she call it?
She didn't. She just said highly recommend the pink and gold tool from Pink Fresh, though, for
Oh.
using on top of the Misty. So it might be like, you know, like your oh, she said she's holding it up, and I do see it because I see your picture, but I don't think everybody can see your picture. So it's like the what you made from the top of your candle, from your Yankee candle. It's like, what do they call those things? A Chucky or something like that?
Chunky.
Yeah.
Chunky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I had so many Yankee candles and these are quite heavy. And they have a nice grip on them. And I bought this for furniture on Amazon for $3 or something like that.
Yeah,
And
I just put felt on the bottom of mine, but she says
Yeah.
it's called a stamp press tool. Thank you, Melissa, for clearing that up.
All right, I'm going to start coloring the dahlia. And because I don't want to get anything on my mat, which, you know, I'm just going to, let me find one that's clear on the back. I'm just going to put this underneath my coloring. I'm stressing, and I can't stress enough, that you're going to color on the back side. And I have gone back and forth, you know, see how it looks. And I can't tell you how many times I have ended up on the front side by mistake. So, and my understanding is that alcohol markers don't play nice with embossing ink, although I also have people say they've had no problems. So we're going to go on the back side, and I'm using the what is this, Red Sunset? Yeah, the Red Sunset alcohol markers. At least I believe that's the color I'm using. And I'm going to start by I'm going to start by using, and you're going to kind of play around. You can't blend on vellum, so you kind of just have to do swipes. So I'm going to start with the, not the lightest color, but the second to the lightest color, and just see what it looks like. And I'm using the brush tip. And I'm just going to kind of flick out, trying to stay in the lines. And then I can turn over and to see what it looks like. And I'm kind of playing on that one. I'm going to try the next darkest one, the second to the, so that's the darkest. I'm not using that one at all. And I'm going to do the same thing just at the base of the leaf or the petal. Kind of a flicking motion. And just see what that looks like. I think I'm going to go with that instead of this. So I'm going to take this up to the top. And then I'm going to take the darkest one and just flick at the bottom. And that's what it's going to look like. Okay. And then I'm going to do that all the way around on all of them. It takes a minute or two for it to dry. I don't know if you can see that it's still wet a little bit. So careful that you don't run over it. I'm going to go right up to the edge there. And we're just going to go all the way around and color them in. For this one here, which is this, I'm not using the dark because the leaf is folded over, the petals folded over, so it would be lighter there. So I'm only going to use the lighter color on that one, provided that I remember when I get around there. And then I go back and forth. Let's see. So this part right here is where I want it to be dark, and this part right here, I want it to be darker. So I have to kind of go back and forth and see where I want to go, because this one, this right here is just a small spot. I'm going to use the bullet point. And that is this right here. And you're going to try not to go over it over and over and over, because it doesn't blend. So trying to make it blend, it just makes it worse. So this one. And the flicking motion, I think, works the best. So that's what I've got so far. So light goes down first and the dark one goes over the top of that. I didn't know what to call this. To me, this kind of looks like a combination of a shadow box and stained glass, which is why I came up with the name. I mean, it's not very original, but I don't know. What do you guys think it looks like? Is that a good description, or do you have something that you would think would be better? Because
Melissa says stained glass works great, and Elena agrees. Yep, everybody's voting for stained glass.
stained glass, yeah. Well, I think when they're done, they look so pretty. And the stuff in the back, the stuff in the background, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect either, because it's blurry, you know. Just don't go and start coloring the leaves with the red. I would never have done that. If there was a mistake to be made, I have made it. Same with the blending of the, you know, of the the alcohol marker, because it's on the back side, it doesn't have to blend well. And you're not going to be holding it up to the light to see how good or how bad it is anyway. Oh, look, I did it again. I'm on the wrong side. Oops. Ignore that. So it's one of those techniques that no matter how good or how bad of a colorist you are, it doesn't matter. It's still going to be beautiful. Well, I wanted to thank everybody for coming. If you've taken my class before, thanks a lot for coming back. And if this is your first time, well, welcome. And hopefully I'll do more classes in the future. So now I got to do that flicking at the base. I'm pulling it up so that I can see better the whole design of the flower, so I know where I want to go.
Cindy says she's glad to be here, and Melissa says she's a continuing student of yours and she loves your classes.
Oh, thank you, thank you. For those of you that didn't see it at the beginning, this is a sneak peek of the next class I'm hoping to teach. Hey, there it is, sneak peek. That's all you get.
Lori, you have an email list from everybody from this class, right? Because people are
Absolutely.
asking to be
Yeah.
included on the email list for your next class.
Absolutely, I have that, and for the people that took my first class. Matter of fact, that's how most of the people I think signed up. I never saw an announcement by Altenew about this class. I know I asked somebody how they found out about it because they requested to, so much later than what I had posted. And I thought, well, where did that come from? So I'm glad that the Altenew posted it. I just never saw it. So I didn't know, you know, where they were coming from. But yes, I have an email of everyone that's taken my last two classes, and I will definitely send that out. Okay, what do you
Melissa
think?
would like to know again what colors you used on the sample image that look like dark pink.
It's the same, it's the same. It's this alcohol, this is the red sunset. Once they dry, they do change color a little bit. Like there's that mistake there because I did it on the wrong side. Who cares? Okay, for the green, yeah, now I say this. I might have used these for that, but I don't think so. Let me see. Does that look more pink? Maybe that's what I used on the sample. And these two
I
colors.
think it does look a little bit more like the sample, but they both look beautiful. So whatever you have, you can use.
That's right. This is ruby red and coral berry, and it came in the let's see, it was the Cosmic Garden set A. And that is what we're going to use for the leaves, is the Cosmic Garden. And this is going to be Forest Glade and Evergreen. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to color on the back side. I'm going to color everything in with the light, and then I'm going to flick the dark. Oh, went out of the lines. Mistake after mistake. Who cares? If you haven't figured out, I am definitely not a perfectionist. Because if I was, I would never accomplish anything. Because nothing I do is perfect. And I don't care. And sometimes fabulous designs come out of mistakes, right, Sandy?
That's exactly right. And that is something I've had to really work on with myself, and I still have a long way to go because I am a total perfectionist. But I have found that's to be true. Sometimes when you make mistakes, it turns out to be a real breakthrough in creativity. So
Yep. I think what I'm going to do, that looks horrible on the backside, is I'm going to go back and forth between the two colors a little bit. Until I like the way it looks. And Sandy, if you find me drawing way over here like this, or way up here and I haven't noticed, please let me know.
I'll let you know. You've been doing great. Don't worry. I'll let you know if there's something off. You do keep having something come down on the top of your screen about work, and I'm not sure what. It's not there
About-
now. It's not there now, but it
Oh,
keeps coming
really?
down.
Well,
Mhm.
I have my computer set when I'm in Zoom to turn it on a work focus. And I
Ah.
noticed that too, and somehow it keeps going off and coming back, so I don't know. All right, so this one, now I am going to use, I don't know what color I used here, but I've already got these, so I'm going to use this kind of beigey color for the center, which is maybe exactly what I did here. I'm going to start with a lighter. This is Rocky Shore, making sure I'm on the back.
Lori, Sue said that she had one of her alcohol inks bleed over the line, but she used a Q-tip and alcohol ink lifter and it removed it.
Oh, and look what I did. I did it on the front again.
Yeah.
And I may do that just right now because I have alcohol.
I think you can also use the blender pen and wet it and take it off.
As long as it doesn't ruin the, here we go. Oh, in that case, maybe I can get that off too. Yeah, alcohol ink is amazing for what it can and cannot do. I like to play with the bottles of ink and Yupo paper. All right, let's remember to do it on the back side. How many times have I had to say that? That's fun. All right, I'm gonna set that away, and while we're in the coloring mode, I'm gonna go back to my to this one. I'm gonna put these away and we'll color this guy. This is my favorite, but I love these colors anyway. If you notice my hair, sometimes it probably has a purplish pinkish look to it because purple and pink are my very favorites. So I'm going to take out, this is using the is this the Rocky Shore? Yeah, the Rock Garden set. And I've got rose quartz and purple wine and puffy heart. That's what I'm using. And again, I'm going to start with the lightest. And it looks like I might have got all three colors here, but I'm going to start with the lightest and just color all the flower in. Oh, and that just looks dirty. Making sure I color the flower and not the leaf. And I'm having a hard time looking at it from the back, figuring out where the flower and the leaves are. That's definitely flower. And that's definitely flower. And that's definitely flower. Maybe I should have done the leaves first. All right. Now I'm going to take the next darkest one, the middle color, and do some flicking.
Lori, people are giving suggestions about that, and they're saying, Sue said that she uses colored cardstock under the vellum so she can see the design better.
That might be a great idea.
Yeah, Kirian says she puts hers over a yellow envelope and she can see much better with that. And then Cindy said, what about using a light box?
Oh. How about if I just take the white paper out and go from there?
That looks much better on camera. It's much easier to see.
Okay, then that's what we'll do. I am still on camera, yeah. Yes, but to see it from the front side. And what I'm trying to do is figure out where the shadows might be at the base of the petals. And I'm going to switch over to the darkest one. This would be purple wine. And try to go along the base of all the leaves, of the petals. Looking good. Of course, you can add more or less depending on, your color preference. I think my sample was a little darker, but I'm liking it kind of light like that. And I think that's good. And then I'm using the greens or aquas that were in the set. And we have emerald, lagoon, and what is this? Volcano. And it looks like I just did the two colors, but I don't know which two. So I'm going to start with the lightest and see. Oh, I think that's plenty dark. So that's the one I'm going to go with. Now I have to figure out that flower. Oops, you can't see them. Oh no, you can see. Oh, I have to figure out where that flower would have gone had it been there. Something like that. I will say I love the color combinations in this particular set of alcohol markers. Sandy, I'm curious, what's your weather there today? Now that the sun's sort of
is
come up.
it is kind of a cloudy gray day today. We've been having completely sunny, beautiful weather. We haven't had snow since probably mid to the second half of December, and it's just been really pretty and sunny. But today it's kind of clouded over. Did you see my pictures from when we went to Hatcher Pass? Lori's asking me because I live in Alaska and it's so beautiful here. And Lori, I put a video.
I did watch
On the
those
other
last night or the day before yesterday. Something
Yeah,
like that.
Sorry, you guys. If you're part of my Facebook card making group, I actually put it in there too. It was so beautiful out that it was really inspiring, actually, just the colors and everything.
And then I'm gonna flick some darker in there.
That particular color combination looks really beautiful, Lori.
I think it does too. That's my very favorite. I used a similar in the last class I did. It was this, if you took my last class, very similar in colors. And they're just, and I like that. I like this majestic branch flower. All right, this little piece here should be done with the brown because it's part of the branch. So I'm going to get out the darkest brown, which is espresso, and I'm going to use just the bullet on the back side. Just like that. Trying to do it with a steady hand. And the nice thing about coloring on the back side is that you have all that white embossing powder that you can overlap and not have to worry about if you go out of the line a little bit. Oh, and this one I didn't come over quite as far, which is fine because there's a piece of the branch here that I don't have it on this one. All right. How's everybody doing? Do I need to slow down or speed up or? I'm assuming because I don't.
Cindy says all thumbs up.
All thumbs up. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Oh, now
Can
it
you
says
see
work
now,
on.
Lori, on your screen where it says work on?
Yeah, I don't know why it keeps doing that. It should just, as long as Zoom is on, it should just be work is on. And what that means is that I won't get phone calls from anybody.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't want phone calls. I don't want chats. I shouldn't have any other messages except that thing going off and on, which is going to be on the video, I'm sure, right? Oh, I
Yeah, it'll
apologize.
be on the video, but it's not that distracting. Don't worry about it.
And I think this is okay. I might have even a white gel pen. Get a piece of black paper that I could kind of trace over that. Not quite as dark, but there. No one would ever know. And this is the gel pen from Altenew. Nice fine lines. Okay, so now we need to do some die cutting. We've got our coloring done. And I want to take these off to the side so I can find them again. And we need to do some die cutting. I'm going to put my alcohol markers off to the side momentarily. And we're going to die cut some of the just leaves and some of the leaves from the jumbo garden picks layering set. All we need from this set is the leaves. That's it. Now I'm going to pull those out. Just that one and that one. And what I did for that is I used the ink to color that. But you could use the alcohol markers too, doesn't matter. So I'm going to cut these out. And of course, I can't get them both on one sheet. New. All right, one at a time. I stepped away because that's where my die cut machine is. I've been trying to reorganize and redo my craft room, and I've been looking at a bunch of those videos on I've redone my craft room. I'm like, oh my God, some of these people's rooms are huge. Well, I think, oh, wouldn't I like that? I mean, I'm lucky that I have a whole room. Don't get me wrong. But I've acquired so much stuff. Can you guys still hear me if I talk over here?
I think so.
I've acquired so much stuff that I need a bigger room. When I took over this tiny bedroom, it was fine. And that was in my scrapbook days. And now it's just ridiculous. 20 years of collecting supplies. All right. So you can either use this one, you're going to color with the lightest, the lightest, and these you're going to do the darkest. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the inks, but I find if I leave them in there, I can color them easier most of the time. And hopefully, and I can't. Do you clean your brushes? Sandy, do you clean your brushes?
Well, I usually wipe them off really well with a paper towel or whatever. And, you know, I have rarely washed them. I have done it before, but I usually just wipe them off until I don't see any more ink on a paper towel, and or I've used a baby wipe, and that's it.
Do you have one for every color?
I do. I have brushes for every color family, and I always start with the lightest color and go to the darkest. But sometimes I have different sizes of brushes, so sometimes, you know, I'll use the biggest one for the lightest color and smaller ones, so I'm not really blending it. But even if you only have one, they usually work fine if you just wipe them off on a paper towel.
I find that they, no matter how often, you know, I'll clean them with the baby wipe, and this was supposed to be the darker one, and I used the lighter one, so I'm switching over here. Even with a baby wipe, they don't get clean enough, and then when I go to another color, it taints it a little bit. So,
well, I think it might depend on what brushes you have too, because the bristles are made from different things, and so, you know, I think it's probably an individual kind of a thing.
First set of brushes. Go ahead.
Barbara added here that she usually colors the paper and then cuts out the dyes, and I think that's a really good suggestion too.
But then I'm coloring all this because I don't know.
Yeah, you use more ink that way.
Right, or if I did that, I could color it this way, which is maybe what I did to begin with, but that uses a lot of ink to do that. Then all my inks probably need to be refreshed. I've got some of the re-inkers, but not all of them. It's all about the money, right?
Yeah, it is. I've been having so many health problems this year that I haven't bought anything for a while, and I suddenly realized how much money I had been spending on all of these things. And now I'm going to be committed when I start back to crafting to really try to use what I have.
Right. Yeah, I think I might have done direct to paper when I did it originally. Which is probably why I don't have a lot of ink on these now, because that does use an awful lot of ink. There. And then that it's going to go there like that. And I like my little Zig glue pen for the little ones. I prefer a liquid glue because I say my hand isn't particularly steady, and I can then kind of move it around and get it in the proper place. When I showed my sneak peek this last time for my next class, I think I forgot to say that it uses some Zentangle drawing techniques, we'll say. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, class number 5, if anybody cares. I think that was 2010, so it was a long time ago that I did that. And it's a really cool way to draw, and you don't have to be talented. But
I've
that
made a
is-
few cards using Zentangle, and I am completely a beginner, but some of the easy patterns are really fun, and they look so intricate.
yeah, yeah. And that's the whole idea with Zentangle, is that you make complicated patterns using easy strokes. So it's a curve or an orb, and they say orb rather than circle because it doesn't have to be a perfect circle, or a straight line or an S. Those are all the strokes that you need to draw any of the Zentangles patterns. Let's get down. Did I not get any glue on that end? I didn't. Try to remember to put weights, and I use my big stamping blocks to put weights on these after I've gotten the glue on it. Sandy, tell about what's coming up for you in February, March.
Oh, well, I'm going to be presenting again at the Craft Makers Success Summit, which I don't know if any of you went to it and have gone to it in the past. It's put on by Stamp Me Some Love. Brandy Mahan puts it on, and it's free. And this February we'll be having it the 20, I think it's the 23rd, 24th, and 25th. And it's 24 crafters who each have done a teaching video. And so anyway, over 3 days, you get 24 different card making videos. And it's really exciting to be part of it. And anyway, it will start getting publicized the first week in February, and with a website where you can go and register. And last July's summit had, I think, close to about 20,000 participants from around the world. So it's really a huge event, and I'm incredibly honored that I got asked to be a presenter. So anyway, that's what's going on. Lori, thank you for asking.
Sure. I have done one of those summits, and it is kind of fun, actually. Yeah. All right, I am going to I poured myself some tea 2 hours ago and haven't had even a sip. It's cold now, but who cares? You talk and then you get dry, right? And everyone should be drinking lots and lots and lots of water, liquid. I prefer a little vodka in mine, but not today. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. There's that. All right. The next one is going to be the leaves here. And we don't need to cut all the leaves. You can cut whatever ones you want, but these are the 3 that I used. And I bet I can get these 2 out of this sheet, and that's going to have to go on a new one. Or maybe. I'm very frugal, but that is just not going to fit. No. And we will be using the alcohol markers for this one. At least that's how I'm going to color mine. But on the other hand, if the inks work better for you, go for it.
Perian wants to know if you've tried using colored cardstock for the leaves.
You absolutely could do that. I have a lot of colored cardstock, but not from Altenew. And because for this design, you want to make sure that the back, this matches the flowers in the front, or the leaves in the front. So that's why I did it this way. None of my cardstock would have matched it quite as well. So, but yes, I've used, when I've done other like layering dies or whatever, I've used colored cardstock. All right, so you know what? Why don't I just color them while they're in there? So for this one, what I do with my sample, I'm going to use the lighter green to color the whole thing, and then just there's actually 3 colors in there. I use the lightest one to color the whole thing, and then a medium color in the dark, and it's going to be this. Whoops. It's gonna be these. So it's from that set A, the Cosmic Garden, and it's the frayed leaf, evergreen, and what is it? Forest glade. So I'm going to start with the lightest one. Don't have to do not a lot of technique for this. I mean, you don't need a lot of talent just to color that. And although I'm a fairly good watercolorist, fairly good, that I've been practicing, I like things that I don't have to, fuss too much with.
Well, I say more power to you for being able to do watercolor. That is not my strong suit. And I admire you for being able to do it.
Wait a minute, is that the right one? Forest glade just seems darker than I expected. I find watercolor to be much easier than anything else because and I've heard both. I've heard people say watercolor is the hardest, and I've heard people say watercolor is the easiest. I find it to be quite forgiving because it doesn't dry, instantly. I used to paint in oils, and that was, I prefer that over acrylics because the oils didn't dry instantly. Now I'm going to use the darkest. I think I'm going to use the bullet end because these are tiny leaves.
Elizabeth said, I'm trying and trying with watercolor classes, but I'm the bomb. And not in a good way. I say amen to that. That's how I am too. I think it's my perfectionism that comes into it. I think I just keep trying to make it better, and then it just muddies it all up.
Well,
Anybody else have that perfectionism thing happening?
this is my latest watercolor piece. So,
Wow, that's beautiful.
but it's not that hard, I don't think. Sandy, you and I will watercolor one day, okay?
That's a deal. When I get going doing cards again, I will take you up on it. I could use all the tutoring I can get.
We'll just have a day.
Okay.
I thought
Everybody's saying how beautiful it is, and you need to do a watercolor class.
I can, but that is not my forte. Okay, I don't like the way this is looking, so I'm going to go back over with the lightest color and just do a little blending. And I'm sure when I take it out and put it behind the vellum, it'll be just fine. I am probably going much quicker in the class because I want to make sure I get through everything than I had when I first did this. I'm just going over with this, the middle color now. I will do some blending. I could do a watercolor class only if you guys realize that I'm not the best at watercoloring. I can share what I know, but
Well, sometimes I think that's better because people who are experts at it don't look at it from a beginner perspective, and it's hard to, they just take things for granted. So I think that'd be really helpful, Lori.
I will definitely consider that. All right, where is that? And this is going to be behind that, and that's going to be fine. Don't you think? Yep. All right, I gotta do these. Because I've got this back here, and then I've got two down here. How are we doing on time anyway? Half
It
hour
is
left?
now, you're an hour and 20 minutes, so you have 40 minutes left.
40?
Is it supposed to be 2 hours?
I thought it was.
That's what I
thought-
think.
Yeah. All
2
right.
hours, so you have 40 minutes, 40.
Okay. All right.
And I'm not the only one who thinks it would be really great for you to do that class, and people think the leaves look awesome.
All right. Thank you. Thank you and thank you. But you see how, you mean these leaves? Because you see what I'm doing with these leaves. It's just practically, you know, you just throw the ink on there. I have never been good at alcohol blending and all that. I always want it to be lighter than what I can make it come out. And I've been very frustrated with alcohol markers. But I like doing this
I
kind of
did
stuff.
I did a workshop on alcohol markers quite a while back. A couple of
Yes,
them.
I took them.
I
I
did
took it.
one that was on coloring and another one that was how to use your alcohol markers like 30 ways without actually having to blend anything. So
Me.
yeah, there's a lot of ways to use them besides just coloring. And that's kind of what I focused on in that class.
Everybody's got different talents. Right? Oops, what did this one? All right. So now comes the hard part, believe it or not. And that is putting it together because we've got all the pieces now. Let me put this away. It's out of the way. So now,
I think Elizabeth was wanting to know which leaves dye you used again. Can you show which
Absolutely.
dyes you used?
it's the just leaves. But you can use, you know, leaves from anything. I just, when I looked at it, I wanted something that was tall that came up. So that's why I chose, you know, these. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to cut our border. I happen to have this A2 layers die set. And I use the largest one and the second largest one, the third largest one rather. And that's going to make this border.
Lori, what was the other leaf one that you used from the large
sure.
garden flowers or something like that?
Yeah, it's the what did I do with it? Here. It is the Garden Jumbo Layering die set.
Great, thank you.
I just used those. So if you don't have dies like this, you can use this kind of cutter. And then you want to make sure that your border is 1/4 of an inch. So you would go in 1/4 of an inch, and then because this has the measuring on, you can't see. I can go up here and measure 1/4 of an inch down also. Okay, get that off of there. And then you can just do on the inside that. But I've got the die, so that's what I'm going to use. Does anybody have any questions about that? So
Cecile wants to know if that's 0.5 centimeters.
heck,
And I have no idea what that is.
I think so.
Thank you. The important thing is that look at this. Oh, where did it go? Oh, I thought it was already. The important thing is that your foam tape, and I'm using 1/4 inch foam tape, is the same size as your border, so that they don't, so the foam tape doesn't show. That's the important thing. I'm using 1/4 inch foam tape, so I'm making my border 1/4 inch, a 1/4 inch frame. So I'm going to, oh, there it is. Now, even though this is cut already, I'm going to cut it again. I know that seems silly. So I'm going to make sure that that's on there just right in the center, making sure. And maybe I shouldn't, maybe as long as I do this. I think I'll just do the inside one because I've already cut these. And it's so important that this piece and your border be exactly the same size so that you can line them up equally. I'd say in my instructions, I say this is probably the hardest part. So I'm just going to use this and I'm going to line this up. And I don't measure. I'm pretty good at eyeballing. Probably should measure, but and you can reuse this tape over and over. So I just take pieces that I've used already and stick it down there so I can use it more than once. And I'm going to want to cut 2 of these, one for each of the cards. When I craft, I use 2 weights of paper. I use a lighter weight for blending or for my design or whatever, and I use a heavier weight for the card base. And I think I said in my instructions it's to use the heavier for this, but today I'm not because that's what I had cut. All right, so there's 1 and now. Or maybe I did. Let's feel. Is this a heavier one? I don't know. And then here's this one, And then I use the center for, some other card.
Kirian said she loves the tip to leave the cut leaves in the cardstock, the color that it really makes it so much easier to color them that way.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, so now I have my 2 frames. No, I think I did use a heavier weight on that one. Whatever. Doesn't matter. And I'm getting a card base out. So here's my card base. Oh, now it says work off. Why does it do that? And so I want to put down, first of all, I'm going to put down the leaves and glue those down first. And then I'm going to put this down. But what I want to do is I want to see where I want those leaves to be. So I put this here and kind of arrange the leaves, whatever I think looks best. So maybe like that. I'm going to move those up a little bit so it's not part of the 1/4 inch border. And once I get it arranged the way I think it would be, then I'm going to glue them down. And I use press and seal. Does everybody know about press and seal? Jennifer McGuire's husband invented press and seal. And it's kind of sticky on one side. So I can put these down, put this down, and then lift it up and they're in where I want them to be. And now I can put the glue on them. And hopefully I'll remember where I had it. Something like that, I think. Over a little bit. Pretty cool, huh? And now what I want to do is I want to take my foam adhesive and I'm going to put it, you're either going to put it on the back of this or on the front of that. It doesn't matter which one you do it. I'm going to put it on the front of this because you're going to stick it together. Whoops, I got to get rid of that. And I want to go right up to the edge. And then cut. If you were going to make this into a shaker card, after you get this foam tape down, that's when you want to put your shaker material in. I have not, oops, I've not had a whole lot of luck with shaker cards. My shaker things are either too big or they're not enough of them or whatever. And I do want those to be straight across. I didn't. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to peel this off and you're going to put this in place. Making sure everything lines up. This is the hardest part. Making sure they're all lined up perfectly. And then I'm going to take adhesive and glue this down. You can take liquid glue or you can take, I've got this from quarter inch from Ultra I'm going to use. Yeah, maybe I'll use the liquid glue just because I can wiggle it into place. Quite straight. And I didn't get that quite straight, but here's what it is. And there it is. Ta-da. I didn't
That's
get it quite
that's
lined up,
just
but
so beautiful, Lori.
thank you.
So pretty.
As you can see, I didn't get it quite lined up. I did much better on this. But you know, I could take my trimmer and trim that. And we're going to do the same with the other one. So where is my leaves? Where are my leaves? There they are.
Cindy gave you a whole round of applause on the chat.
Thank you. Once I figured out this technique or whatever, I said I've showed you all the cards I made. Well, not all of them, because some of them I've sent. And they just come out, I think, really nice and unique. Oops. I just bumped it. Put my head on my camera. So again, here I'm going to figure out where I want these to be. It's a little one down here. I could not live without these reverse grip tweezers. I've had them for years. They used to have little yellow grippy things that fell off. I wanted to replace them, and these have such, can I get that up there? Can I get it to focus? These have such a sharp point. And I need that to pull up things. And the ones I ended up getting to replace this, it's not sharp. And I was disappointed. So I used it for a whole different purpose now. Get in there. Hello. You know what? I think I'm going to put this one down there. And I do try to keep it inside that 1/4-inch border. It's not, critical. Get all the little pieces out of there. And out. That doesn't show it all here. That's good enough. There's my. There it is. So I have shelves above me here, and I just literally stick to this to the edge of the shelf when I'm not using it, because you can use them over and over. And then glue it down. And because it's underneath the vellum, you don't even have to be super worried about gluing everything down, because it's not going to shift anyway. Unlike maybe if it was on top of the card where you wouldn't want the edges to peel up.
Barbara is loving the press and seal technique there.
It works really great. All right, so that is my gap. So now I need to put the foam tape down. Now I could put the foam tape on this. I'm going to try it this way before I put it on the card base itself. See if I have any better luck doing it this way, lining it up. It would not be a good idea if you're going to use it as a shaker card to do it this way, because you need it on here. You need the border to put your shaker pieces down. Hey, Sandy, how many people finally showed up?
We had a total, couple people have had to go, but we had a total of, besides you and me, 17.
That's good. Good.
So 19 with us.
I know because people contacted me. I know one person wasn't able to come at all. And I said, you know, I'm still gonna sign you up and I'll send you the material and you can watch the video. And one person said she had to leave early, which was fine. All right, then I need to glue this down to here. So I'm gonna peel this off. I'm gonna try something that I saw. I'm gonna peel just this much off.
Yeah, that works really well, doing that technique there. I found
Yeah.
that with my workshops, I usually get 50 to 60% of the people that actually register because, you know, everybody's so busy and the day comes and things happen and
Yep. Yeah, somebody's best friend ended up having their shower was today. Well, you can't not go to that, right?
nope. But the
All
good
right.
thing is that no matter who's giving the workshop, we all video them and record them. And so if you're interested in it, even if you know you can't come, you can register and then you'll get the link for the video.
Right, right. Which is exactly, I think I'm doing a much better job of lining this up. Oops, which way is it going? Oh, that way. Yeah. Oops. This one too. Yeah, that lined up so much better compared to this one where I overhang here. So, all right, then all we have to do is put the frame on and it's done. And I'm going to stick with my liquid glue. So you can see all the paper dust that have shown up from on my black background here.
People are saying how much they love them. And Elena said this would be a beautiful technique to use with poinsettias for Christmas. I think it would be really pretty if you used gold embossing powder
Yep,
for Christmas with poinsettias. I think that would work really well.
this one was done with the silver.
Yeah, that looks beautiful.
And actually, I did this card with that for Christmas because with the oh shoot, get down there. Yeah, I did because I didn't have a poinsettia, but that's red and green, and I just put Merry Christmas right there on the outside, and that is that.
I agree with Cindy. She said, "Oh, so many possibilities."
Yes, absolutely. And I didn't get that quite down there all the way. And I see that I've painted on me more than once. So, ladies, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, if any gentlemen did show up. I know that somebody's husband was there for a minute. Thank you so very much for coming.
In my Facebook group, we have just about 600 people now. And my husband's in there because he wanted to be. But I do have one male card maker. And so I try really hard to not say anything about lady, you know, like, well, ladies, this or that when I'm making an announcement, because I think there's one man out of the 600 and I don't want to offend him.
Did anybody make it along with us? You want to share your pic, oh, I love it. No, wait a minute. I'm going to, let's see. If I click on somebody and I hit spotlight for everyone, will that show that person's?
Yes, but basically you need to get off of sharing your screen.
Oh, okay, let me stop that.
Stop sharing your screen and then click on spotlight on somebody.
All right. There. Oh, I love it. Beautiful. Beautiful.
I didn't do alcohol markers. I did the layer stencils.
With regular ink?
Yep.
Yes.
In the front, I buffed the embossing, and then I did it in the back, so there was be more color.
Yeah, and with
That's
those stencils, you can
beautiful.
turn the stencils over, so they'll
Yeah.
work just as well. Excellent. I love it.
I hate embossing, so I only did one card.
Which is fine.
I
But
had to
you
figure
guys
a way
can-
to do this without embossing. I really hate embossing. That's
You
why I
guys
went
can
into hot plates, because I hate embossing.
You can
Well,
unmute
it's the road,
yourselves
yes.
now. Go ahead and turn your mics back on because Lori's
Yeah.
finished with her direct teaching.
Do you have one to show or just the? Oh, yes, yes. Now you
Carmen,
used a
those are
different,
beautiful.
you used a different stamp with the red one. I like that. Which one
Yes,
was
I
that?
used-
Oh,
Oh, that's really pretty.
oh,
That
I
is really pretty.
love it.
Coral Sunset.
All right, Coral Sunset. All right, good to know.
I love the diffuse leaves. It's so pretty.
Yeah,
I love it.
yes.
Mhm.
All right,
Very
who
nice.
else wants to share? Amy,
Yes, please.
sure.
Okay, so there's that one.
Lovely. Now yours is
Nice.
much
Oh,
darker
love
than
the
mine. I like that.
Pretty.
I
Yes.
used just the 2 colors instead of 3.
Okay.
It seemed to do better. And this one, I've finished coloring it. I'm still putting it together.
Oh,
That's
I like
gorgeous.
that.
And that's
Gorgeous.
Yes.
Peony Bouquet. I didn't have the dahlia stamp, so.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. I mean, there's so many,
Mhm.
you know, anything that's got an outline,
So
anything
yep,
that's got an outline stamp.
I love
Yeah.
them both. They're great.
That's beautiful, Amy.
Excellent. Oh, let's see. Was there anybody else? Wait a minute, Cecile? Oh, now what
Oh,
stamp did
so
you use
pretty.
for that one? I like that.
Cecile, can you put a little higher?
Sorry?
Can
Put it
you
up higher.
There.
Yeah.
That's so pretty.
I didn't really succeed with the alcohol, and I used glue for the, tacky glue for the vellum, so it didn't stick. You really need to use tape to stick it.
Oh, well, it looks beautiful.
That
But well, it's the beginning. I really like it, so I'll make some
Good.
more.
All right.
Cecile, see that? Press it.
Hold on. I'm
Yeah.
spotlighting you. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Cecile, where'd you go? All right, spotlight. Go ahead.
So
wait a minute.
you can use a large acrylic block and
Yeah.
put it on top until the glue dries.
Yeah. Okay.
So it will not curl that way. Or you could put it upside down with the acrylic block on top. So
Yeah,
that way
that's-
it won't curl.
That's what
I use liquid glue.
Okay, I started another one, but well, it's not finished. But with the tulips. I don't know if you can see it up.
Wait a minute. Let me get you.
Oh, that's
It's all falling apart.
beautiful.
It's all falling apart. It's
Oh,
Well, it's beautiful
that's
though.
because it's not finished yet. That you're working
No.
on it.
no, it's
Oh, you guys did such a great job.
deconstruction. Totally deconstruction.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for coming today.